Hey guys, Justin here from CBI Off-Road. Today we're going to do the install tutorial of the hybrid bumper on our 3rd gen Tacoma. We are super pumped for this bumper. Stay tuned for the install. Alright, first step is we're going to remove the grill. That'll give us access to the bolts down below this that we need to take out. This is two 10mm bolts and 2 clips to get this out. And you also have the TSS sensor that needs to be unplugged over here. We'll go ahead and get these out. All right, so now you're gonna notice a little bit difference between this truck and the one you're working on probably, unless you're running our covert bumper. So that's what we had installed here. So a lot of the stuff is already taken out on our truck. If you have any questions on the removal and prep for this, we're gonna drop a link below to the install of our full bumper. So this hybrid is gonna use the same cut. It's gonna use the same exact process to mount up as the full bumper, so you can watch that video also and refer back to this one. But that explains this. So now we're gonna remove this plastic piece and prep for our cut. All right, so next step, we're gonna talk about our cut and getting all that set up. So there's a 10mm bolt right here. If we pull this off and pull the fender out a little bit, we'll be able to see where this line comes and meets down under here. This is the fender and the plastic bumper. Where those meet under here, that's where we're gonna wanna make a mark on this fender. And then on the front side, on the underside of this bevel, right above the fog light, that's where we're gonna meet up on the front. So we'll get those marked out and get some tape stretched between these, and that'll give us our cut line. All right, so there's our cut line. We got it all taped up. Everything's nice and straight. I'm just using a 5-inch cutoff wheel. Make sure you got a good face shield, because all this plastic, you definitely don't want that in your eyes or your face, and good pair of gloves so you don't whack a finger off. We'll get cutting. All right, so now we have our cut done. You can see here, I didn't cut all the way to the tape line. We're gonna use a sanding disc to dial that up and get that line nice and straight. So leave yourself a good 1/8 or 1/16 of an inch down from your tape line when you cut. Okay, so we got everything sanded down and cut. I'm gonna use a deburr tool and just kind of clean up the edge here, all this melted plastic, and then we'll do a test fit. Don't be afraid to do a couple test fits if necessary, and just make sure your line is nice and straight. A little bit of time up front is gonna save you in the long run. Every time you walk by your truck, you see a nice straight line, it'll pay off. So don't be afraid to test fit, but we'll go ahead and get this deburred and then start our test fit. All right, so we just got everything test fit. Cut looks great. What we're gonna do now is clean up this area right here so that we can spray paint it. Due to the open design of the bumper, we want this kind of hidden back here. The different color contrasts kind of make that stand out. So we'll paint both sides and this area across the middle. Wax on, wax on. All right, so while your paint's drying, the next step, we can go ahead and get the grill on, and it goes on the same way. Just make sure that you plug in your TSS sensor and get everything tightened back down. All right, so we got our paint pretty much dried up. Now we're about ready to mount the bumper. If you have any accessories going in the bumper, now is the time to install those. We have a light bar cut out for a 30-inch single row light bar. That would be the first thing to go in. Next would be your winch if you have one. We have standard winch mounting holes here. We also have these slots cut out on each side of the bumper, and the design is for a 4-inch, a 3-inch, and a 2-inch light will all fit in here, but it's all slotted, so really sky's the limit on how you want to trick out your bumper. You have the ability to do that. So get your lights in it and get it on the truck. All right, so when you get your bumper on these main mounting nuts, go ahead and run them all the way up in, but don't tighten them just yet. We're gonna use this bolt and nut with the washer on it to get the height adjustment tuned in before we tighten those down. So this just installs in the bottom. We take our serrated flange nut, go on top, and if you tighten this bolt down, it'll actually raise the bumper so that you can get it at the height that you want. All right, so this is our side support bracket. Now I'm gonna explain the install to this. So again, because we already had a covert on here, there's a plastic plug over this hole that's already been removed, and these tabs here have already been cut to prep for this bracket. But again, refer to our video for the full bumper install. We'll leave a link to that. But here's how the install goes. So if you loosen up your sway bar, slide this between your sway bar and the bracket, and you want to attach 2 bolts here, one going through here, and then of course your sway bar back in. So we'll go ahead and get this main bolt through. All right, so we got the bumper in place, everything's sitting where we want it, so we're gonna go ahead and start tightening everything down. Our side support brackets are 16 millimeter. We got the 2 up here and this back one. And of course our main mounting bolts are 14 millimeter. We'll go ahead and get everything tightened down. All right, so our next step is we're gonna mark and trim this inner fender liner. So we're gonna follow the metal part of the fender right here. I'll indicate it with a Sharpie so you can see it better. And then we'll drill a hole towards the end here, get a zip tie and secure the end of it. There's not a perfect way of doing this, but a razor knife works really great. Scissors sometimes also, or a good sharp knife. All right, now it's time to install our cover plate here. So we have 6 clip nuts that'll go 3 across the top, 3 on the bottom. These just go straight on and just kind of pound them on with a hammer. Make sure that if you have a winch, you stretch your line through the plate before mounting the cover. Otherwise, you won't be able to get to your winch line later and actually use your winch. So that's a good pro tip. Go ahead and get these on there. All right, let's get our plate on. These are a 7/32 Allen. Just make sure to get everything hand tight before you tighten them all down. All right, guys, that sums up our install tutorial of the 3rd generation Tacoma hybrid front bumper. If you got any questions, leave a comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you guys on the trail.